Hey guys, hope the holidays are going well for you. This video is gonna be a bit different than usual and a small break from the usual shitposting and guides to send off at the end of the year on a good note. War Thunder at times can be a very frustrating game.
I'm gonna go for him then.
My game just froze. I love this game. I'm not playing anymore today.
So frustrating, in fact, that oftentimes you just want to quit. Maybe for the day, maybe for the week, or maybe quit this hellhole of a game once and for all. We lost some real ones in 2023, and depending on how you view this game, the fact that I wasn't one of them might be good or bad. Anyways, as annoying as this fuck circus of a game can be at times, I do find enjoyment in it, occasionally, and this year, there was definitely some vehicles that I played a lot more than others. In this video, I'll be showing you the top 5 from these vehicles that I enjoyed the most this year, so that if you have not already, you should go check them out. Anyways, let's get started. Number 5. The A1H Skyraider. The A1H is a 6.3 American Battle Pass prop attacker. However, the H variant denotes that this is a later model, the one used in Vietnam in fact. As such, this one gets access to a plethora of advanced technology that you normally won't find until you get to jet tier, such as flares, rotary gun pods, and most important of all, the Zuni rockets. The Zunis are massive and can absolutely obliterate any tank when used in CAS at this thing's battle rating. But we play RRB here, so how is this thing supposed to be fun? Well, the Zunis can be set to a distance fuse, which when coupled with the great loaded performance of the Skyraider and the air spawn it gets, means you get to basically farm free kills on Ju-288s before they get to bases, and after that, you can have even more fun by obliterating all the cocky German main retards who think their 30mm guns will win every single head-on. Spoiler alert, it will not. And when you get up tier to face jets, oh my goodness, you can farm some serious salt by obliterating jets with your rockets. And your unloaded performance is not that bad either. Once you get rid of the rocket pods, you can reliably turn-fight some stuff at low speeds, including some of the BF-109s that you'll occasionally be facing. All in all, this thing is a pretty fun little goober, but honestly, rocketing people, as fun as it is, even made a video on that one earlier this year, does get boring after a while, which is why it's only number 5 on the list. Moving on to number 4, the Sea Vixen Fighter All-Weather 2. The Sea Vixen FAW-2 is an 8.7 British Premium Navy Fleet Defense Fighter, and is a plane I have a serious love-hate relationship with, but mostly love. So how is this thing fun? It doesn't even have guns. Okay, let me explain. When I want to get back home, tired after a long day to grind an event or a task or just grind Silver Lions, this is my go-to. It absolutely prints Silver Lions due to having a higher SL multiplier than even some top-tier premiums. But enough about grinding, let's talk about the fun. For starters, you are basically a flying wing with comically strong engines, so you can basically outrun anything at your battle rating, outclimb and spiral energy trap anything you can face, and surprisingly, turn well with most stuff at your battle rating. The only time you're gonna have trouble is when you're up tier to 9.3 or 9.7 to face the under-tiered supersonic shitfucks. As for weapons, okay, yeah, you don't get guns, but you get 16G missiles with a massive uncaged bore sight that lets you hit the funniest close-range lobs. Oh, you also get a fully omnidirectional RWR with threat identification and a great radar system with decent range and scanning speeds and azimuths. So no one is safe from you. Okay, so to recap, you get one of, if not the best, Airframe 8.7 with great missiles. But there must be a catch, surely. The catch is that you get no guns, and most of your advantages like the great airframe and top speed fly out of the window, pun not intended, with the slightest up tier where you can face Transonic Energy Monster and under-tiered Supersonic War Crimes. Oh, and half your missiles are duds, but that's not really the plane's fault, that's just Gaijin's shitty coding of missiles and giving them the same real shatter properties as cannon shells. Yes, Gaijin is very retarded. Anyways, when you aren't being skullfucked by Timmy and his totally balanced and totally not under-tiered F-104, and your missiles are not sparking, then this shit is very fun, and I admit, I did a lot of fun grinding and just messing around with this thing throughout this year. Fun fact, the most SL I made in a single game this year was done with the Sea Vixen. With a simple 500% booster, I managed to rack up over 900k SL in a single game. I'm telling you, this thing is fun. Number 3, the IL-2 1942. Ah yes, finally a tech tree vehicle that you don't have to shell out money to get. The IL-2 1942 is a Soviet tech tree attacker at the battle rating of 3.0. which obviously gets an attacker air spawn. Now this is the last of the early Sturmovix, meaning that it gets the upgraded engine and the 23mm guns, unlike the 1941 before it, but it lacks the tail gunner of the later Sturmovix. When not loaded with bombs, this thing is surprisingly a very good fighter, where it can use its attacker air spawn to climb decently and its large flaps to turn on a dime with 5 rubles of change. The 23mm cannons absolutely skullfuck anything they hit, almost always scoring one-hit kills. As such, this thing is really slept on, and often forgotten or used for CAS in ground battles. But really, just take it out for a spin without any ground ordnance. This thing's insanely good fighter when played as a cracked up heavy fighter or interceptor. Number 2. BR693AB2. The barcode 693AB2 is a BR 1.7 French flying butt plug with yeah, it's ugly, stupid, and the guns are not even facing the right way, so why the hell would this be fun to play? Well, you see, it suffers from obscure low-tier plane syndrome, where basically the only people who play this thing are new players working their way down the tree. As such, these inexperienced players will bring down the statistics of the plane, and in turn cause Gaijin to drop its battle rating because they think it's bad. In reality, this thing is hilariously undertiered, so please don't tell Gaijin. You have great flight performance, incredible top speed, very punchy guns, even though the guns are not actually facing forwards. See, this thing is supposed to be a ground attacker, so the guns are actually angled downwards, so you can strafe ground targets. This is a double-edged sword. While it is somewhat difficult for new players to get the hang of these offset guns, more experienced players will absolutely decimate with these. And the trolling potential is insane. The amount of times I would take this thing into a head-on, then pull off slightly, making the enemy think I'm breaking off and not going into a head-on, when in reality, I'm just lining up the offset guns. They get caught off guard and get completely shredded, or worst case scenario, the fact that I'm not flying right at them messes up their aim. Yeah, this thing is loads of fun. Just because it takes a bit of skill to use, the trolling potential is great, and it's just satisfying to land trick shots with that offset gun. And the flight performance is no slouch either. In fact, you can reliably dogfight a lot of the stuff that you face, as long as you don't turn with the biplanes. Before moving on to the number 1 most fun plane I enjoyed this year, I'm gonna give you some honorable mentions. First off, the F5E. This thing was fine at 11.0, but for some reason, early this year, it went to 10.7. Now it literally cannot lose unless you get fully up-tiered, or are genuinely retarded and don't know how to fly jets. I'm gonna admit I didn't play this thing much, because having a plane where I could turn off my brain and instantly win is not that fun. F-104A, C, MiG-21 F-13, and the MiG-19s. You are a 9.3 supersonic that can face Korean War-era subsonics who literally cannot do anything against you in a down tier. You literally cannot die unless you actively decide to throw the match. Again, I'm not a fan of planes where I can just turn off my brain and instantly win, but if you are, if that's what you find fun, then go ahead, this one's for you. HE-100. This thing's the same as the F-104s, but you get the Club Reserve tier players. No, seriously, this thing's as fast as the early jets, but it faces reserve biplanes. It's funny. A-26B-50. Because going head-on against clueless fighters using stealth belts on all 14 of your guns is absolutely hilarious. Swift F-7. Yeah, do you see those 2G missiles? Yeah, they seem dogshit at first, but they're actually mouse-guided. So you can absolutely troll people in a head-on with them sometimes. God, they're so satisfying to get kills with. Wyvern S4. It's basically the F-104 and the HE-100 once again, but at its own battle rating. But I'll admit this one's a bit more fun than the other two, just because of the salt you can go farming. You get an air spawn, unlike the other two fast shitfucks, so you could just climb up to space and remove the XP-50s and P-38s. Sud Aviation SO-4050 Vator 3N Late. You are the lowest battle rating aircraft in game with semi-active radar missiles, and also the only jet with an interceptor air spawn as far as I'm aware. The great cannons, lovely top speed, and AA Nords are also great for dealing with dumbasses and boom and zoom tactics. This one is really slept on and honestly my favorite early jet to fly. KV-220. Yeah, I realize this is not a plane, but I did have a lot of fun playing it this year before it moved up to 6.0. So I'll put it in honorable mentions since it's not a plane like everything else on the list and because it moved up in battle rating recently. And finally, the number one most fun plane I enjoyed playing this year in War Thunder, the T-18B57. Yeah, anyone who's been active in our Discord server for more than a few minutes should have probably seen this one coming. So let's skip right to the point. The T-18B57 is a 4.3 frontline anti-shipping dive bomber/attacker in the Swedish tech tree. Or, as I refer to it, a fucking war crime machine that you can buy from IKEA. Okay, so the guys at Saab got high on way too many IKEA meatballs and decided to take their B-18 frontline dive bomber, which by the way already had a front-facing 13mm gun, and they decided to fit it with not one, but two front-facing 20mm IKEA Allen wrenches, which is already insane for a bomber. And as if that already wasn't enough, they then got rid of the bottom gunner to fit a giant autoloader drum for the absolute horse cock of a 57mm cannon. So this thing was designed to pop tanks or small boats, but in game you just load HE in the 57mm and click on enemy planes. Anything you click on with this thing's guns will usually cease to exist. Okay though, it gets great guns, it can basically never lose a head-on and guarantees a kill if someone flies in front of the guns, but it's still a fat bomber. And I would not blame you for making the mistake of thinking so. Yeah, I don't know how to tell you this, I'm just gonna break it to you, the T-18 at some speeds can unironically turn with most fighters it faces. It also has enough top speed to outrun pretty much anything it faces in a slight dive. So yeah, let's recap here. You get a plane that gets a 4,000 meter bomber air spawn. It is armed with the single best air-to-air armament selection at this battle rating. You spawn in, drop your 8 bombs to shed the dead weight, or maybe save 1 or 2 for pesky airfield campers. You get on your way and climb to space. Pop 2 to 4 bombers with the 57mm within the first 2 minutes of the game. Then use your altitude advantage and great speed and maneuverability at high altitude to absolutely shit on P-38s and XP-50s. When those are dead, you can swoop down from the heavens and pick off any poor fighter still left. Yeah, this thing goes silly. Now, you know why I call it a war crime with wings? Every plane that is broken in one way or the other is counterable in some other way, and usually requires you to conform to a certain playstyle. The F-104s require you to only boom and zoom at high speeds and can still be countered easily in up tier with decent missiles. The F-5E still needs to be played carefully because you have no acceleration and no bitches if you play that thing. And you also lack the top speed to run away from most planes you face in up tier. Hell, these 2 points can apply to pretty much any plane that you call broken nowadays. Except the T-18. You can literally dictate the fight by choosing who and when to fight. You can literally outrun anything at your BR range except a few specific planes, and those few specific planes turn like a bucket of dog shit, so you can literally outturn them in your comically maneuverable bomber. And honestly, the fact that this thing is broken downright is not why I find it enjoyable, but rather how unpredictable it is. You're at a battle rating often considered the mid-tier of War Thunder, and no match goes the same as the last. One game, the XP-50s can be on your team, and now you're facing a full horde of German bombers. The next game, you could be facing Wyverns from the British team. And yeah, that's the one thing you're not going to catch up to. Although intercepting them is very fun, especially if they choose to climb. In the next game, the XP-50s could be on the enemy team, so you're in for the dogfight of your life at high altitude. Be careful of those P-38s, they left a third party. All in all, this thing is just what I look for in War Thunder when it comes to fun. It's easy to play, I could just turn off my brain and win half the time. It's unpredictable, and it's overall just enjoyable to play. Yeah, this one is easily, by far, my favorite plane to fly this year, using it to grind tasks and events when applicable. Anyways, I may have had a few errors and oversights in the script, but not this last part. This was actually the first part of the script that I wrote, and I poured every ounce of genuinity and emotion into what I'm going to say next, and in reality, it's the reason I wanted to make this video in the first place. This was one hell of a year. You know, I really don't like beating around the bush or getting emotional when thanking people, because that just sounds cringy and whiny, so here goes. None of this would have been possible without you guys. You know, my viewers. I really want to thank every single one of you by name, if I could. You are why I make these videos, and your heartwarming comments and remarks are what drives me to make even more. Here is the last 4 great years of this channel, and the many years ahead. And I'm gonna once again try my best to deliver quality content, memes, guides, and various other tomfoolery to you guys in 2024. And would love to hear in the comments what you guys want me to try next year. Perhaps a video format that you want to see more of, or less of, or something new altogether. I don't know, tell me in the comments, I'm listening. The next meme guide video in this series is already underway, and as voted by everyone on the Discord server, is going to be about the MiG-23 family, and you should also join that Discord server if you haven't already. Link in the description. Anyways, have a happy holiday season, and see you next year.
Hey, Donut!
Yes.
Is it angle on this?
Hello guys, it's your boy Donut here. Today we're learning how to fly the Mirage.
Oh god! Oh what? Donut!
Among Us and walk on that with Donuts.
Where is that R73 going?
Is that him? I think that's him.
Box to what?
What?
The thug shaker. Give me the thug shaker, dude. Shake your ass.